Hello. Today's stories come from r/am I the jerk. We have 3 stories today where I sorted by the most top voted of the subreddit. We start in the bathroom, but end with comedy. Our first story is called Am I the jerk for forcing my guests to move to a hotel after they refused to use the bidet? Sorry for all the poop talk. I live in a country with terrible plumbing. If you flush toilet paper, you are pretty much guaranteed to back up your toilet. I grew up in Colorado, so I know how weird it is to wipe after a dump and then put the paper in a garbage can instead of just flushing it. So, I installed a wand bidet in all 3 washrooms in my retirement house. So, after you poop, you just spray your backside down nice and clean. Then, you use the toilet paper to dry your butthole. Nice, simple, and less gross, in my opinion. I wish I had these when I lived in the States. So, my brother and his wife came down for a visit. I told them the rules for the bathroom, and they both said that they understood. Apparently not. They clogged the 2 public bathrooms the first day. Then they asked to use the one in my room. Nope, that's mine. They asked me where they were supposed to go to the bathroom. I pointed them to the clogged ones and offered them a plunger and a drain snake. They said I was the host and it was my responsibility. I laughed in their faces. So they packed up and left. They found a hotel, and now they are on social media complaining about the crap country I chose to retire to and calling me a terrible host for inviting them down but not letting them use my bathroom. I posted pictures of my bathrooms after they clogged them and asked if they knew who did that to my home. They called me gross and immature for talking about their bathroom habits. I'm lost. They brought it up first. Anyways, they are calling me a jerkhole because they are having to spend money on a hotel when I live in a really nice house with guest rooms. But now everyone who knows the bathroom rules for down here is calling them idiots for not using the bidet or putting the toilet paper in the receptacle. Edit. These awards are making me laugh. Definitely not the butthole. Those who can't follow simple instructions to prevent this type of crapastrophe should really do better. It's their own fault. The comments here are gold. Let's jump straight to them. Amazing Amiria said, not the jerk. The responsibility to unclog the toilet falls on the person who clogged it, not the host. Canary Old Girl said, could someone please tell my husband that? Righteous Vengeance said, not the jerk. Those two are just so full of crap. Edit. Thank you for the awards. I'm flushed with embarrassment. Signal Table added, not as much as the loo is. TT Pete said, look, man, if you didn't offer them your poop knife, this one's on you. Icy Finger added, I had to scroll too far to see a reference to the classic poop knife or spatula. If you missed this iconic, probably the most iconic story of all, I have read it before and will pin a comment with it and add a link at the end and in the description. Our second story is still in the bathroom? What's with Reddit and bathrooms? It's titled, Am I the butthole for ruining a pregnancy announcement by telling the woman she may have taken the wrong test? My husband and I, both 30, recently invited 8 friends for lunch and were asked if we could also include a new couple, Doug and Sasha, both 30s. We have never met them, but everyone who was invited has, so we said sure. At one point, Sasha needed to use the restroom, and I told her to use the master since the other bathroom was occupied. I was helping my husband finish with food when Sasha came out of the master, bawling and holding something in her hand. At first, I thought she hurt herself, but she said something to Doug that caused him to drop to his knees, cry, and begin kissing her stomach. All of our friends began screaming, jumping, and crying. It was insane. Finally, Sasha tells my husband and I that she is pregnant. Of course, we congratulate both she and Doug and gave them a bag for the test, their request. I will admit, I did find it odd that she brought a pregnancy test and took it at a complete stranger's house. But I did not say that. Once everyone sat down to eat, Sasha said, OP, I hope you don't mind that I used one of your pregnancy tests. I just saw them and had to. I responded, confused. I don't have pregnancy tests. Sasha says, yes, in your drawer. I asked Sasha if she meant the blue box in the back of my lower left drawer that was closed. She seemed to realize I was pointing out that she basically snooped and sheepishly said that the box said pregnancy for pregnancy test. I said, Sasha, the brand is Pregmate, and those are ovulation tests. I do not own pregnancy tests. Did you take an ovulation test? Doug freaked the absolute F out at me, saying his wife was not an idiot and can read a box. He insisted Sasha get the test out and show me that I'm wrong. Sasha refused, saying she didn't need to prove anything to a complete stranger, and insisted they leave immediately. One of the couples thought Doug and Sasha acted ridiculous. The other three couples thought I should have pulled Sasha aside to discuss my concerns, and said I was a jerk for saying something in front of everyone. Honestly, the whole situation caught me off guard, and everything happened so quickly. The whole thing was bizarre and confusing. I just didn't have time to put the pieces together mentally before asking about the ovulation tests. Also, I found out later through one of our friends that Sasha did take an ovulation test, and she is not pregnant. Edit to add update. I do not meet the criteria for a standalone update. I'm not sure if anyone will see this. In case anyone does. First, let me thank anyone who took time to read, comment, or give an award. I am very, very, very grateful for the feedback. Based on the responses, today I called up one of my friends who was present and took Doug and Sasha's side, and basically told her I was owed an explanation for what the F happened. Here's what I found out. Apparently, my friends have known Doug and Sasha for much longer than I realized. This is strange because they have never talked about Doug and Sasha before this. Doug constantly brings up wanting to have a baby every time they see him. One night, Sasha confided in the women that Doug divorced his first wife because she was old and infertile. She was the same age as Doug. Doug married Sasha because she was young and fertile. Sasha heard him tell this to some friends. At that point, Doug and Sasha had been trying to conceive for over a year, and Sasha was concerned that Doug was going to leave her. They, the women in my friend group, tried to convince Sasha that this is not a healthy relationship, but she insisted she was happy and just needed to get pregnant. They gave her the courage to seek medical assistance, which she had previously been scared to do. Sasha ended up getting prescribed fertility meds at her appointment and was scared to test with Doug. So they told her they would come to her house to be with her when she tested and be a support system for her. The day Doug and Sasha were at my house was after Sasha's first round of meds, and she was in the window to test. She had not planned on testing, but had a light bulb moment when I told her to use my bathroom. Sasha only took the test and did not steal anything. When the test came back with 2 lines, Sasha was in shock and immediately wanted to share with her husband and support system. Doug was mortified by the ordeal, and Doug and Sasha have been fighting a lot. Sasha has been bad-mouthing me to anyone who will listen. She believes I ruined her marriage and embarrassed her and Doug because my husband and I were threatened by Doug and Sasha and the friendship they were building. Sasha told my girlfriends they shouldn't spend time with me anymore because who can be friends with someone who treats a guest in their own home that way? My friends felt they had to take Sasha's side in the moment because they knew how important the pregnancy was to her marriage. I am back on good terms with my friends. Also, yes, my husband and I have been privately trying to get pregnant. I am upset that now my friends are aware. Thank you to my fellow TTCers, past and present, who mentioned this invasion of privacy or gave well wishes. You all touched my heart. Side note, TTC refers to trying to conceive. A bit obvious, but one I couldn't work into that sentence. This story is messed up. OP is not the jerk. I think the confusion and response were natural, given she doesn't know these friends of friends who are celebrating a positive pregnancy test in her home at a lunch. I mean, she went with it until she found out Sasha was rummaging through her drawers. Who does that? And Doug and Sasha? Come on. Sasha's badmouthing of OP makes me think her and Doug might be well suited to one another. Should they be having kids, though? I'll leave that to my fine listeners for a verdict. While you stew on that, let's jump over to some one-sided comments. Nevertheless, Dissent shared, not the jerk. What kind of person snoops through someone else's bathroom to take a pregnancy test at a dinner party hosted by strangers? They got the attention that they wanted. Little Panda added, and seeing as how they apparently took the wrong test, they also got the attention they deserved. Lime with a twist said, admitted to stealing too. Livalove said, not the butthole. It's weird to immediately announce a pregnancy like that after just an at-home test. People wait 3 months for a reason. Nothing about this situation isn't weird. Sabai Interim said, seriously, don't people normally wait 3 months and take a bunch of tests just to be sure? I don't know how common false positives are, but yeah, announcing that after one test is odd. Especially since said test was A, the wrong test, B, that she got from snooping around, C, at a stranger's house. What the actual frack? To some extent, I can usually understand attention-seeking behavior, but this is just bizarre. Someone else said, not the butthole. Doug and Sasha are the type that would announce a pregnancy at someone else's rehearsal dinner. Perhaps you should have pulled Sasha aside, but honestly, nobody can blame you for boggling as the asininity of it all. In response to announce a pregnancy test at someone else's rehearsal dinner, a Redditor said, "You must be new to this sub. The standard here is funerals, usually tragic accidents, and children's funerals, or weddings." Our last story brings the funny back. Just wait for the edit and let me know in the comments if you saw it coming, because I did. Our story is titled, "Am I the jerk for not giving 24 hours notice to my daughter's roommates before dropping something off?" I'm new to Reddit, but my husband advised that I post here and is helping write this. I am a mother to a 20-year-old daughter. She is a junior in college and attends school in the same city that we live. My daughter and two of her friends live in a condominium that I own. Her friends pay below market rent while my daughter does not. The condo was inherited from my parents, and it was their intent that I would pass ownership of it to my daughter when she is mature enough to own her own place. My daughter, husband, and I are in agreement that she will take over ownership of the condo when she is out of school and financially independent. Earlier this week, my daughter mentioned that she had run out of some household supplies and would have to set aside time to go shopping before the end of the week. My daughter's schedule has been especially rough lately, as she has picked up extra shifts at her part time job due to short staffing. Wanting to be helpful, I offered to pick up the supplies for her and drop them off at her place. She accepted. The next day, I picked up the supplies and took them to the condo. I knew my daughter was in class, so I knocked and, when no one answered, let myself in. The front door opens into the living room. When I entered, I found one of my daughter's roommates being intimate with a man on the living room couch. I was obviously mortified, so I left the supplies at the door and left right away. I didn't say anything to my daughter about what happened because I didn't want to put her in an uncomfortable position, but I did let her know that I had dropped off the supplies. On Friday, I got an angry email from the roommate's parents. I'm not sure exactly what they were told, but their email lambasted me for invading their daughter's privacy. They said that what I did was wrong because I'm their daughter's landlord and I entered the condo without giving 24 hours notice. They're threatening to take legal action if I do it again. I am vaguely familiar with this requirement, but didn't think it was applicable here. Was I the jerk in this situation? I feel bad about what happened, but I also don't feel like I was out of line. Edit. My daughter was aware that I was coming to drop off the supplies and asked that I leave them in the kitchen, which is adjacent to the living room. Edit 2. I am not asking for judgment on whether I violated the law. I checked in with a friend who is a lawyer, and he thinks that because my daughter gave explicit permission to enter the home and drop off the supplies, I'm in the clear. I am asking whether I was the jerk for doing so. Update. I called and texted my daughter asking to discuss the situation. She can't speak to me right now because her roommates are fighting and she's mediating. But she is aware of the situation and sent me a quick explanation. My daughter had notified all the roommates I was coming over, but roommate 1 apparently forgot. The man she was with was roommate 2's boyfriend. She freaked out and contacted her parents because she was scared I would spill the beans. I still don't know exactly what she told her parents, but I assume it wasn't the full story. I have never met roommate 2's boyfriend, so I didn't know it was him. Roommate 1 and roommate 2 are fighting now, and needless to say, roommate 1 will be moving out. I will be writing a more comprehensive formal lease for roommate 2 for both my protection and hers, but in all honesty, roommate 2 is wonderful, and I do not anticipate that there will be any problems. An easy, not the jerk verdict, eh? But a great story that I couldn't pass up. Roommate 1 is an idiot. Bad decisions all around. On to more funny in the comments. Someone said, "Not the jerk. You were not entering in your capacity as landlord, but in your capacity as your daughter's mother, in which case you do not need to provide notice. You also had your daughter's permission. Roommate had no expectation of privacy vis-a-vis her roommates, who could have walked in at any time, regardless of whether they had a class scheduled or not. She shouldn't have been doing it on the couch out in the open." Edit. For all those that are claiming that OP was a butthole for not giving 24 hours notice, given that she is both landlord and mother, this logic would then suggest that OP would have to give 24 hours notice to the other two roommates before entering the unit, even if she was accompanied by her daughter, whereas the parents of the other two roommates could enter without any notice to other roommates. This is just warped logic on so many levels. Anybody having sex on a couch in a living room of a shared apartment should have no expectation of privacy. Definitely not a robot said, "Plus, she knocked." Defenestrate said, "Plus, that's gross." Ted Hanover's Peaches added, people who do that in shared space are animals. But I see this one was not only abusing the communal furniture, but had decided the boyfriend was also communal. I guess I shouldn't be so surprised. Wild Honey said, the roommate forgot, then made this extravagant story just in case you talk to the parents? Wow. Not the jerk, in my opinion. You weren't acting as a landlord. You were not doing some kind of check. You were providing items to your child and gave notice regardless. Also, if they don't have a formal lease, get one immediately. Charge the market value. They want you to act like a landlord, then act like one. But that's just me. In response to the roommate forgot, OP replied, I gave up on trying to understand the logic of young people long ago. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.